Welcome to Instruction Discussion, our weekly look at the latest topics and trends in education affecting schools here on Long Island and schools around the world. Whether you're a teacher, parent, or student, listen for tips and strategies to help you navigate the educational landscape. There's a bell. It's time to start today's Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, I'm Kevin Boston Hill, and welcome to Instruction Discussion, where each week we will examine a recent trend or development in education and its impact on Long Island. Google or ask someone what they fear most, and among the responses you get, aside from spiders, heights, and clowns, yes, clowns, you will hear people say speaking in public. As weird as this may sound, considering we speak to people all the time, the thought of speaking to a crowd of onlookers terrifies a lot of people. Now, we all know that public speaking is an invaluable skill, one that pervades every occupation and industry. So how do we calm people's fears and help them make this skill a strength rather than a hindrance? One thought is to start training students at an early age. Much like getting athletes involved in a sport or musicians playing instruments at early ages to help with mastery, the same can be done with public speaking. The more opportunities students have to speak formally, the more comfortable they will be and the better they will get. One such opportunity is the Garden City TedX event. This event will provide students the opportunity to express a viewpoint they may have, present a platform they are passionate about, or just make their voices heard about a particular topic. To provide more information about this event and to discuss the importance of providing opportunities to learn and grow to our youth in general, we once again welcome Dr. Ptahsen-Shabazz, educator and chair of Africana Studies here at Nassau Community College. Dr. Shabazz, welcome back to Instruction Discussion on 90.3 WHPC.
Yes, giving thanks, Brother Boston Hill. Most grateful for the opportunity to come and share, and as always, giving praises to the ancestors, the creator, for the journey, you know?
Of course. And I think this is the type of event that the ancestors will be proud about, because I know they're always talking about giving back to about what they are and giving of themselves to let the next generation take over. And this is one of those ways we can do that.
Yes, it's always about, trying to cultivate and inspire and give voice to the next generation, passing the torch, And as I remember coming into adulthood and looking at the world, I said, boy, what a world to inherit. And, we put our shoulders to the grind. But still, as we come into this 21st century, the world that the next generation have to inherit has so many critical issues that, for them to have a voice and prepare their voice is so important.
And you're absolutely right about that. And I think in our last conversation, we spoke a little bit about how music is influenced or has influenced our communities and so forth and so on. And when rap music first started coming out, there was more message based in there. So when we think about that and juxtapose that with the public speaking aspect, how important is it to be able to provide opportunities for our youth to express themselves, to talk about what's going on in their heads?
I think it's excellent opportunity, Baba, because the genre of rap and hip hop, in terms of the commercial market and ways that youth see that they can make it, is kind of pigeonholed in terms of the issues and the topics that are available to them to express their creativity. And so, because of the commercial aspect of hip hop and rap that we spoke about last time, the pigeonhole is often a toxic one that has messages that are negative for the community. What this event offers, is a broader range of topics that can allow the youth to express their creativity, their thoughts, their minds, especially when we consider the 2 years that these youth have been, our youth, all of us have been locked away during the COVID phenomena.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity, I believe, for the youth to air their voices, and for us as the elders to actually hear what's on their minds, and so we can know or what areas that we might need to cultivate, as well as gain more knowledge from.
Right. Now, a lot of people, and I'm sure our listeners are very familiar with the TED Talk, and you've seen a lot of different important people give their expressions and so forth. But and then we have these offshoots that are kind of more geared towards just the regular person, these TEDx events. So what is the Garden City TEDx all about, and how did it get started?
Oh, well, this was a opportunity that was actually brought to Africana Studies at Nassau Community College. There's an area high school student. I believe she's from Syosset High School, and her name is Jessica Yao. She's unable to be with us this afternoon. However, she came or got in touch with us, and we had a Zoom meeting with her, as well as a co-sponsor of the event. Our group, Africana Studies is sponsoring the event, but it's also being co-sponsored by Bold Minds. Bold Minds is a area youth group that has been founded by one of our professors, Professor Marsha McNair, that is a associate professor in the English department, as well as teaches courses in the Africana Studies department, literature courses as well. And so Jessica Yao brought the idea to us, the interest in having a location to sponsor this TEDx Youth Speak event. And we were so pleased to meet her. And at first meeting her, the thought was that she wanted to be a major presenter. But in fact, her interest was just in terms of trying to coordinate it and give others the opportunity to speak. And so she's done a wonderful job in coordinating and accepting applications and just being at the energy behind this. And what is admirable is that she's precocious. She's a junior. Right. She's actually a junior in high school.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's real important that you have such young people wanting to take on basically an activist role. And just to be an activist doesn't mean that you have to be out in the forefront, in front of the camera, so to speak. We need people behind the camera, behind the scenes, doing things and kind of pushing along just as well.
Yes, man.
Because I think even during the height of the civil rights movement, that was led primarily by young people.
Yes, indeed. When talking about that was SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And, one of their major leaders, of course, was Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael. But, yeah, man, they took on the segregation and the apartheid system of the American establishment and tradition. And it's actually the transformation of towards an integrated society. We give a lot to Dr. King, as being the leader of that movement, but the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and so many other civil rights organizations, were part of that movement. Young people in particular.
No, exactly. Now, for this particular event, is there an age range or age limit so how do we define youth?
Yeah, well,
because we have a lot of people who are young at heart, but
yeah, well, we've stretched that definition.
Okay,
we've stretched that definition some. We accepted applications, I believe, from 14 through our college.
Okay,
through our college. So we have some college participants that are going to be presenting at the TEDx on June 3rd. at Nassau Community College in the College Center building's multi-purpose room, and it's going to run from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock that day, Saturday, June 3rd. Yeah, one of our participants I see has, if I can say that they've come to the studio.
And, sure. If they're available to speak, we would love to definitely have them on, and so we can get an idea of, maybe get a preview of what it is that they're going to be talking about as well. So as soon as they are ready, we'll mic them up and bring them on air to talk about what they're going to do as well.
That's
but
right.
Let me ask you this before they do come in. Is there any type of maybe historical significance to why now, and just to have the event here on the campus of Nassau Community College?
Well, hey, Baba, you always ask some timely questions, and as really a new chair of Africana Studies, taking over from Professor Ken Jenkins, who founded the department and ran it for 30 years. Yeah, I'm honored to fill in this position, and part of the whole mission of Africana Studies is the mission of this TEDx conference, is really to cultivate the next generation. One of the greatest psychologists and psychiatrists that we remember from a revolutionary time in the 1960s was one known as Frantz Fanon. And Frantz Fanon, in one of his books entitled Wretched of the Earth, he leaves a very famous quote, that will be pertinent and relevant to every generation. And it is that, quote unquote, Frantz Fanon said that each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. And so, this conference, which we hope will be the inaugural of perhaps a yearly or biannual or of each other year biannual conference, we're hoping that this will be an important mainstay for the Africana Studies to give area youth the opportunity to speak to some critical issues that they see growing in our world.
Now, I also noticed that in putting this together, when you're looking for people to be a part of it, you weren't just looking for speakers. You're also looking for people to be part of graphic designers, or people to kind of do some of the setup, the technology piece of it, or even just pulling everybody together. So what are some of the, opportunities going forward that are available when you start putting together an event like this?
Well, all that you mentioned are part of the casting, and for this particular year, everything is pretty much coordinated. At this time, we're just looking for guests to come and participate as an audience to the speakers. I believe that we have about 10 speakers from Nassau Community College and some area high schools as well that are scheduled to speak on such topics. I saw one topic dealing with the issue of tipping. When you go to certain establishments,
restaurants, tipping your service people.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't a full familiarity with the speech, but I saw the abstract, and it was dealing with the culture of tipping.
Okay.
And it'll be interesting to hear a young person's perspective on it. I know I usually try to leave 10%, and sometimes I'm a little insulted when I see that they give you the bill and the minimum is 15. I say, boy, this inflation thing from our times, from the 20th to the 21st century.
I know they tell you automatically that you were adding 15 or 18% on the bill, and some of it is time based. So if you come in after a certain time of day, they automatically put the gratuity in there.
That's an insight on me.
Yeah.
That's an insight for me, yeah.
So I know, and I'm sure that's a really big point of discussion, because even in just your regular circles, that question always comes up. How much should you tip somebody? Is 10% enough? Is 15? Is 20%? So everybody has their own way of calculating what it should be.
It's interesting. Yeah,
Yep.
It's interesting. I'm thinking of some class dynamics that scholars could, interpret into it. Different people have different rates that they can afford to actually tip at. So,
I think that's definitely something. And it may not just be about socioeconomics either. It can also be about how what your upbringing was.
Cultural.
Because some people think that, we need to tip regardless. It's kind of like giving your tithing at church.
Right.
That's something
Service.
you just do. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
So let's talk a little bit. Why is it, and we're going to get to that. My next question I'm going to get to in a moment. I just want to do a quick station ID. We could just tell everybody or remind all of our listeners that you are listening to Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Kevin Boston Hill, and our guest today is Dr. Ptahsen-Shabazz, educator and chair of Africana Studies here at Nassau Community College. And we are today talking about the Garden City TedX event. We touched on it a little bit earlier as we were talking about the event itself, but I want to get a little bit more deeply into what is the importance, or why is it so important that we identify the next generation of activists? Because we know that people like Al Sharpton, he's great and he's still visible, but he's getting older. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's not going to be much longer that he's going to be able to be out in the public and whatnot. And other people of that ilk. Locally, we have Fred Brewington, the attorney. But again, they're getting older. And so we're starting to lose some of our those great activists. So how important is it to start to identify the next wave?
Well, I think even Al Sharpton, when I listened to him in recent broadcasts, I like Al Sharpton. One of the artists he likes to use is Michael Jackson in his musical intros, and a song in particular he likes to use from Michael Jackson is "Man in the Mirror."
Yes,
Man
I hear
in
it.
the Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is the type of leadership that we really need to cultivate in the next generation. We've been looking for a prophet, we've been looking for a savior, we've been looking for the Christ, and when the Christ comes and has come, he's come to really awaken us to the Christ that's within us that needs to be awakened. And so, the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and the young person in the mirror needs to learn this and cultivate that self-belief early, because as we said earlier on, what a world they have to inherit. And the solution is inside them, but they just have to be given the freedom to cultivate themselves fully in the best of cultural traditions so that they can bring it out fully.
Thank you for that response. And of course, yes, we know that our students need to be given the tools to be able to express themselves and also be shown how to do it. And we were fortunate enough to have such a student come in and join us now. So joining us in our conversation is Nehemie Saint Fleur, who is a student here at Nassau Community College and who will also be taking part in this TEDx event. So Nehemie, please tell us a little bit about what got you involved in this event and what do you hope to get out of it?
One of my professors told that I could be a good speaker, and my background is a writer and a poet, and I thought that I have enough to talk about, and here I am today.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So I'm sure being a poet and a writer, you are able to express yourself through the pen or using the pen and paper to really express your feelings and what's going on that you've been exposed to. So now you're given this additional platform to do so as well. Is there anything that you would want to give us a little preview about what we can hope to hear come at this event?
Definitely. I want to talk about something that I don't think we have enough awareness about, which is mental health. And it touches so many people that I know, and even myself. And what people do not understand is mental health doesn't mean that you are, quote unquote crazy, but it means that something is going on that you need to work on, that you need to talk to someone about.
You know what? I think that's important. And Dr. Shabazz, you want to chime in on that?
Well, that's excellent and so timely, because in all of our lives, in all of our families, we all need some guidance and understanding and awareness with that topic. And it's probably been a hidden issue that in this generation, Give Thanks is coming out to become more clearer, so that people can get the healing that they need. And I didn't know that Miss Saint Fleur was going to bring such a topic. So but it's not surprising. So she was a bold and A+ student when she was a student in my course, and so I'm sure that she's going to have some very clear and articulate things to say on that topic.
I'm sure. Would either of you, do you know, will this event be recorded? So in case somebody cannot necessarily make it live, will there be an opportunity to view what all the different speeches and things later on, and how can they have access to it?
Yeah, TedX, I'm learning about as we coordinate this event. But from the little familiarity that I have with TEDx, I kind of YouTube TEDx and see speeches all the time from different locations and what have you. So I can only imagine that this event will have a forum that will be open for people to always be able to consider. I think that's why it's being produced. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that'll also help to generate buzz for next year. Because I think, and that's one thing that you hit on a little bit earlier, that this is the inaugural event here on campus, but you're looking to make it an annual event. Yes, at the very least.
Yes, I. Indeed.
Okay. And Nehemie, have you thought about, or at least have you had these types of discussions with your peers, as far as not just around mental health, but around just the art of knowing how to express oneself, and maybe have you run your poems and other writings by your peers, or also try to get them, encourage them to express themselves as well?
Yes, I have. I actually work in a hospital where I encounter many people who different, personalities, and I get them to read or buy my books. And after that, they come back, and there's the discussion, there's the exchange of ideas. And most of them, they want more. They want more ideas. They want more books. But unfortunately for me, the time is not always the best factor for me. But yes, I had many people who had exchange ideas. Some of them were really bright personalities, bright person. And I was fortunate enough to meet those people.
Okay, now wait a minute. Wait. We buried the lead here, because you didn't tell me this part. You just, I'm just a student here at Nassau Community. You didn't tell us you were an author.
There you go. Uh-huh.
I mean, you have to let that be known. People are coming to you to get your books and so forth, and they're coming back to you to get more books to see what else you're producing.
Glad you caught that, brother.
Yeah, that's something that needs to be put out there. You talk about expressing yourself. We need to let people know that you have book. What are some of your book titles, and where can they be found?
All right. I wear many hats. I'm an economist, a healthcare worker, a writer, a student, and a poet. So my first book was published in Haiti, where I'm from, in 2004 when I was 16, in French, L'Univers de l'Amour. And my last book was published in 2020. In English, of course, it's on Amazon. It's Operation Saving My Christmas. So it's available on Amazon, and people can buy or even read it.
Okay. See, those are the types of things that people want to know. I'm sure, and many of our listeners are of Haitian background, Haitian descent. I'm sure they want to be able to see that there are people like themselves who are doing writing and who are being successful writers and things. So never sell yourself short when it comes to stuff like this.
Haitian Massive, listen out.
There you go.
Sac passe.
So how can students or anybody in the general community get involved with this particular event? Now, this event is taking place relatively quickly, so they may not be able to come on as speakers or anything right now. But as we go forward, since this will be annual event, how can people become more involved with this type of event?
Well, give thanks, first and foremost to come forth and be part of the audience. And really what we're trying to do is create a village, a community through the Africana Studies Department to bring youth together to deal with the serious topics of our time, of their time, of our time. And this TEDx youth event is one of several events that we'll be attempting to put together for the next academic school year. Every February for African Heritage Month in the Africana Studies Department, we do host a Black Heritage Month play. This year was Platanos and Collard Greens, and we hosted it to a sellout audience in the theater here at Nassau Community College for Black Heritage Month. Last year we did the play entitled The Meeting, which was a hypothetical meeting between Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King in Harlem. And our students are part of those productions on stage and behind the scenes. And it's from these type of activities that we're creating community here. Professor Danielle Chris is our theater director, and as well as our cultural arts director, teaching dance classes and performing arts classes. So we are creating a space for students to cultivate their voice and share themselves with each other as well as with us as elders, to just get a sign of where things are moving forward as we try to pass on a little heritage from the tradition.
Yep, of course. Now, Nehemie, I'm going to give you the last word here because I'm going to have you back so we can do a full segment, just me and you on this, to talk about your books and everything like that. But I want to give you the last word here and ask you, if you had a piece of advice to leave our audience as far as the opportunity or the importance of being able to express oneself, whether it's through writing, through speaking, or whatever, what advice would you give?
I will say that the sky is the limit. Do not overthink, because there's always something to say, something that could save someone else's life or someone who's going through the same situation. So don't be afraid of writing. Don't be afraid of singing. Don't be afraid of doing anything new, anything bold. Because at the end of the day, while you're doing it today, it might not be significant, but in the future, it might.
Wow, great words, poignant words.
Beautiful.
And we would certainly like to thank our guests, Dr. Ptahsen-Shabazz, educator and chair of Africana Studies here at Nassau Community College, and Nehemie Saint Fleur, student, author, and all-around community activist, for coming on to our show today.
Great honor, Brother Boston Hill. Giving thanks for you having us, indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Once again, my name is Kevin Boston Hill, and thank you all for listening to Instruction Discussion, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.